Welcome to the Growlers and Gremlins podcast, an alcoholic adventure in cryptids, paranormal, and the occult. Coming to you weekly from the heartland of America.
All right, let's once again welcome you all to the Growlers and Gremlins podcast. I am Brian, continuing to bring absolutely nothing of concept to the fucking conversation.
Nothing of concept?
Nothing.
I didn't sound highly inebriated in his episode.
I didn't misspeak, John. I didn't bring a concept. I'm gonna bullshit my way to victory. So on my left, I have
John,
and on my right, I have
Jason,
and directly across from me, I have a devious-looking person. Don't stop it. Who are you?
I'm the special guest, Alecia. I hate saying my own name. It sounds weird.
That's because you are weird.
that's why it's way easier when your name's just one syllable.
Well, yeah.
Is Brian one syllable?
No.
No?
Brian, you know, we will teach you this right now, okay? To think about syllables, clap. Brian.
Dude, we've done that before in the past in school, and it was like, this one's one. It's like, but I said two sounds. It's like, oh, that doesn't matter. It's still one syllable. It's like, fuck you.
What word has two sounds in one syllable?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Unless you're gonna be like, well, the word rain is rain.
We're not talking about syllables in my third grade education, John. We are talking
rain
about my topic, but we can't start with my topic until we get past the beer of the week. And the beer of the week is from the Quaff On Brewing Co in Brown County, Indiana. It is the Blood Orange Yellow Dwarf. That is a blood orange dry hopped American wheat ale. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it tastes okay. That went down the wrong hole.
It's kind of like a weedy little shandy or something. I don't know.
Oh, fuck it.
It's pretty good. Good orangey taste.
You slam it down on the table too hard.
I don't slam. I gently
A little bit
place.
of grapefruit taste to it, but I guess that's just blood orange.
I get a note
I don't know what a
of
blood
grass clippings from this. I don't.
Why do you eat grass clippings?
No, it's what grass clippings smell like as you're mowing the yard.
Fresh and delicious?
No,
Have you ever mowed a yard?
Yeah.
It smells like gasoline.
I like the smell of freshly cut grass.
Yeah. After you get past the smell of gasoline on your own self.
I don't mind the smell of gasoline from the mower.
Also, some people can operate a mower without covering themselves in gasoline.
Yeah, that's also true.
No, it's just the fumes. I mean, I have a push mower, so.
Fumes aren't bad either, though.
But also true. I used an electric mower most of the time.
It's all about that feeling they experience, the freshly cut grass, the smell of the mower running. It's just
Yeah, that's why you mow barefoot.
that's a good smell. Yeah, that's
What?
a great idea. Mow barefoot.
I always mow barefoot.
It's a great idea.
You don't wear your shoes out because you're walking circles around your yard.
And how many toes do you have?
All of them. It's a push mower. I'm not in
all
front
the
of it.
ones he was born with, which is 3.
I have elephant foot. No. Yeah. I mean, why would I be anywhere near the side or the front of a mower when I'm pushing it?
No, I mean, I had a next door neighbor growing up who also push mowed his yard barefoot, but it was because he wanted to carefully walk in the lines that the wheels were making.
Does he have fucking toddler's feet?
No.
Was it just because he wanted like the end result to look a specific way?
Yeah, look as if it had not even been stepped on.
That's stupid.
See, my ex wanted me to do like make the yard look a specific way, so I would intentionally make it look as shit as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd go diagonal one week and then circles the next week.
Yeah,
just to make
you're
it...
supposed to do that. If you cut it all the same way all the time, it fucks up your grass.
Oh well, then
Like
I was
it'll-
accidentally doing something right.
Yeah, if you run the tires over the same spot every week, it starts to slowly kill the grass in that one spot. That's why they want every time you do it, you go long ways and then lengthwise.
I haven't gotten to mow my yard here yet.
No
But
shit.
like around here, I feel like I need some denim shorts and some white shoes.
No, it's going to be
Just put on a wife beater and a pair of
cargo
basketball
shorts and a
shorts.
pillow.
God, no. Whoa.
No, it's going to be
What
cargo.
is this, Hawville? I'm going to go out in a wife beater and
John.
basketball shorts to mow my yard?
You're not okay.
That is
Basketball.
the most white trash thing.
Okay, you know what? Do what I do. Put on a pair of cargo shorts and a wife beater.
No,
barefoot.
nothing about that is better than what you said before.
It's even worse
if
because
anything,
he's
it is
barefoot
worse.
and like
barefoot in your cargo shorts and a wife beater.
Yeah.
That's the most...
You don't stain your shoes. You don't care about your shorts too much. You just need the pocket so you can put your phone or some other shit in it. And you don't want to be wearing a full shirt on a 90-degree day mowing your yard.
Cargo shorts are not the only shorts that have pockets.
They're the only ones I like that have
for
big
those
pockets.
extra ones.
I like having big pockets. And I usually have to keep a wrench in my pocket for the
You
mower.
will never see me in a wife beater. I just don't wear them. They're uncomfortable and they look trashy.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you insinuating that I am trashy?
Has anyone ever looked classy in a wife beater?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
What's the fucking name of it?
Yeah, it's called a wife beater for a reason.
Dwayne The Rock
There's a
Johnson
stigma there.
wears wife beaters in like every movie he's in.
Still don't like it.
Doesn't mean it looks good.
Alecia may be a little biased.
Why?
Oh, you are the wife.
Ah. The beating of wives. No, I had a friend growing up though who used to always like shorten it because he always wore one like under his t-shirts or whatever. No, he called it my wife beat.
That's the wrong way to shorten that.
I know.
It's just
he always call it a wife beat.
It's either you call it the wife beater or you're just wearing a beater.
Yeah, no, he would always just call it my wife beat.
I provide my wife with a singular punch. That's usually what it takes. My wife beat.
That's what he called those shirts.
I think if you keep down this line of thought, you're going to get one beat from Alecia.
What, is she going to smack me and break her hand?
That's what you think. You don't know the rage that
You can have plenty of rage, but I don't trust the structural integrity of your bones.
Or your
what's the
skull.
Well,
yeah, I do
have a weak spot.
I could just chop you, just right in the back of the head.
Say it's like those Wolverine frogs where they break their bones and push it through the skin and stab people with them.
Oh, what? Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's an animal asking to die.
No, it's like the weirdest looking frog you've ever seen. It's got like hairy thighs, and it will like break its bones in its wrist and push it through the skin to stab its attackers with.
I've got hairy thighs.
Are you a Wolverine frog?
I hope so.
All right. Well, this took a fucking turn, I guess.
What are we talking about, Brian?
What are we talking about, John? Well, you texted me with a very important thing that you wanted me to talk about.
And you didn't bother to research it.
No.
I gave you a month's notice.
You didn't give me a month's notice.
I did. It was
you sent me a text while I was at work and I was doing shit and it was like, okay, whatever. And I deleted it like I always do with every text message I ever get because I don't keep text.
Are you trying to hide something?
Like who would possibly look at your phone that you need to delete text messages?
Dude, I have 15,000 photos on my phone. None of them are appropriate. I'm not worried about text.
You have 15,000 pornographic images on your phone.
I mean, they're not all
to be
porn.
Specific anime.
And what percentage are of age?
At 15,000 images.
424. 15,424 images on my phone.
15,000.
Not all of them are porn.
Even if 10% of them are porn, that's an insanely high number of porn images to have on your phone.
Go ahead and flip that around to 10% of them might not be porn images.
Brian living up to your title every single day.
I know, it's great.
Oh, God.
Yeah, look at me now, John, and tell me you're proud to be my friend. But the best part is, I don't show anybody those. Those are just for me.
That's the worst part of it. How bad are they? They're just for me.
Oh, they're not. It's all a lot of vanilla. It's not bad. Trust me. But no, back on topic. John sent me a text. He's just saying a month ago. I don't know for sure. And I don't have the receipts here. John does have the receipts. But he sent me a text. He was like, hey, Brian, you like Godzilla versus King Kong? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm going to go see it in theaters when it comes out. And he's like, cool, you should talk about like kaijus and all that other shit. And, well, I didn't really do anything about that.
It wasn't even kaijus. It was Hollow Earth theory because that is a part of the movie series.
Yeah, I mean, I can bullshit my way through
part of the
Hollow Earth.
Zillaverse.
They're calling it the Monsterverse, yeah.
I like Zillaverse.
The legendary Monsterverse.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's not much to go on. I mean, kaiju, all kaiju translates to is just big monster.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of monsters. I can't really nail that down. So I thought maybe I could just bullshit about Pacific Rim and Godzilla and a bunch of big monster stuff from anime.
Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah,
I said Pacific.
No, she's talking about. I always refer to the movie as Pacific Rim as my specific rim, as a reference to my butthole.
Why don't you just call it your Atlantic Rim then?
No, because
that's a shittier knockoff movie.
Well,
from
no,
Pacific
because
Rim.
like my specific rim.
Why don't you just call it your Ring of Fire then, you dumb asshole?
No, because then that doesn't play on the movie title. My specific rim is my butthole.
Is this what you're asking her to like help out with?
No.
Will you help me with my specific rim?
Just the name Pacific Rim. Just for some reason, I thought specific rim, and that's what I decided to call my butthole for a while.
God, you're a
my
fucking moron.
Pacific Rim.
You're a fucking moron. But anyway, so
did you know that Idris Elba's in my specific rim?
Not anymore. He went out. He died in your specific rim. Okay, so anyway,
So yeah,
John gave me a long list of topics,
yeah, it was
of which I researched 0.
it was supposed to be Hollow Earth theory because that ties the MonsterVerse together.
Yeah, you said that.
Dragons, Leviathans.
What the fuck am I supposed to
kaiju.
talk about? Dragons? All they are mythological creatures.
Well, no, so that's the whole idea, is that kaiju and things like that come from just the idea of extraordinarily large monsters, that all cultures around the world have myths of things like dragons
Yeah,
or
I know.
monstrous creatures.
Do you guys remember the part in like every time I host an episode where it's like, yeah, I didn't do this, let me explain why, and then you start just interrupting me for no
All right,
fucking reason?
We're gonna let you run.
You're gonna let me run.
We're gonna
ahead.
let you run.
Go ahead.
We
Okay.
won't save you.
I'll cut
No.
our mics. Go ahead.
You can eat my ass. You can kill yourself with a fucking AK. And you stop
did I
looking so
do?
fucking smug. No, we got to the point where it's like, oh, everybody's got to explain how Brian fucked up. Well, Brian's like, yeah, I fucked up. But I mean, what's there to talk about? There's big monsters in every culture in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Talk about them.
I didn't research any big monsters from around the fucking world. I was going to bullshit about Pacific Rim and Godzilla for an hour.
Well, let's do it then.
All right. Cool.
Have you seen it?
What?
Either Godzilla?
I've seen both of them, and I've seen Pacific Rim. I didn't
Okay.
watch Pacific Rim 2.
That's because it's awful. You shouldn't watch it.
And I won't.
Okay. When you say both of them, do you even know the Toho?
Don't
Yeah,
get
of
Jason
course I know
started.
the fucking Toho ones. Those are the...
Toho, Heisei.
There's like the only ones I care, like all the ones from the past where it was a guy in a fucking suit. I don't care about those.
We're talking about current stuff,
All right, get
because
fucked.
only the current ones are relevant to Godzilla versus Kong.
No,
Same
I mean
Godzilla,
Shin
regardless.
Godzilla is a fucking great movie,
Shin Godzilla is fucking awesome.
but it's like, yeah, the ones us Westerners really know about. It's like you're not looking back at when Godzilla was rock paper scissoring the fucking Mecha Godzilla in that valley, and they got punched in the balls, and then his little like Triceratop friend came out of nowhere and skewered.
Baragon?
Whatever. They have a bunch of stupid ass little. It's like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
For fucking Toho movies.
No.
Yes.
I've seen some of them. Some of them.
Godzilla versus Biollante? No.
No. Some of them were god awful, though. I haven't seen all of
Godzilla
them.
versus Destroyer? No, that's not a Saturday morning cartoon. Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. There were good ones in the classic series.
Yes, there were. But there were probably a lot more shit ones than there were good ones, am I right?
Well, yeah, for every, like, Biollante, you also have a Hedorah, and you have a Megalon. Giant fucking cockroach.
Yeah. And they ran with ideas. It's like, what was the original concept of Godzilla?
He was
Dinosaur.
No.
He was an allegory for nuclear weapons and the damage they cause.
Mm-hmm.
It's Godzilla comes ashore and just decimates with no care.
And leaves nuclear radiation
Yeah,
behind.
and then he just irradiates an area and disappears.
They were not allowed to make movies about the bombs at the time that they made Godzilla.
Why?
Because they wanted people to move past it. It was it was like the biggest.
It's kind of like making a Nazi movie in Germany. It's just frowned upon.
Yeah, Godzilla is a nuclear
Just frowned
weapon.
upon.
Not disarmament, but it wasn't like, it was I don't remember what the name of the director was, but it was him going, we should not have these. Nobody should have these. Like, ever. Like, this was not...
Nukes?
Yeah, it was science we never should have gotten.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have had the Demon Core episode, and that was fucking fun.
Is our Demon Core episode worth the lives
It's been long enough. It's not
all
equitable.
the people who could potentially in the future die from nuclear weapons? That's the thing. It's not about what was done with them. It's about the state we're in now, that mutually assured destruction, that, like, this just shouldn't exist.
No, because we have neutron bombs now.
Even worse.
We'll just kill everybody, but we'll leave the cities intact.
Horrible.
It's like, yeah, we could nuke each other off the face of the earth, but I really, really like New York. So we're just going to do something that just kills biological matter.
You're the first person I've ever met that likes New York.
Oh, I don't like New York.
Oh, well, you just said it.
No, I'm just saying.
You're saying hypothetically. If someone
Hypothetically,
really
there's
likes New York.
there's some guy that's like, I really like New York, but I want to nuke it, but I want the stuff to still be there. So we're gonna hit it with this neutron bomb and fry everybody, but all the stuff is still gonna be good. So I can still go to Fenway. No, that's in Baltimore. I don't know, Boston, somewhere. I don't fucking know. But
Yeah,
it's like I can still go to that burger place in New York and get shit.
But if you fire off a neutron bomb in New York, yes, the burger place is still there.
Yeah, the guy's gone,
But
though.
the employees that make those burgers taste the way that you enjoy aren't there anymore.
I think he's thinking more along the lines of Bill de Blasio, creating conditions so bad in New York that everyone moves out and then he buys up the property they leave behind.
Not at all, but I'll fucking whatever you're saying, I guess. No, it was Godzilla. I don't remember what the fuck I got on the neutron bombs for, but yeah, Godzilla was like not the cautionary tale, but like the nuclear bombs are bad propaganda for Japan that wasn't directly saying.
Did the people of Japan need to be told that nuclear bombs were bad?
There are people.
I feel like they were taught that lesson pretty hard.
No, dude, like you can read like firsthand accounts where shut up.
No, I gotta say something stupid. Remember when we described the nuclear bombs as Godsmack? We still get we still show up in search results for Godsmack because of that.
And now we will again.
No,
Godzilla, the nuclear Godsmack.
no, but I mean, there's some people that were like, yes, the atom bomb's taking out those cities in a second. That's awful. But there are other people that weren't in those cities that will tell you that the fire bombings were 10 times worse.
Absolutely.
Because they were.
Because that's not an instant death.
No, it's not even an instant. It's the amount of people it killed. It killed like 5 times as many people as both of those bombs did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, our city's made out of wood. These people have nowhere to run. Like, I think they said 750,000 people die alone from the fire bombings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, make a fucking Godzilla movie about, maybe we don't set fire to wooden houses.
How is it that in this day and age the band Gojira still exists?
Gojira.
I don't know.
I am more worried about the fact that Brian did not research for this episode, right?
Yeah.
But he just knows about the bombings and the deaths and all that stuff.
Brian,
you know me?
Brian loves military history and like that kind of stuff. Like he can always go on that.
But you ask him to know anything else at all. He doesn't know it.
There was an entire campaign dedicated to, hey, we can't always hit the factories because there's all this, but we can burn down the whole fucking area. I think there was a 8-month span where all they did was take up millions of canisters of whatever, I think it was phosphorus or something, and they just drop them over a whole area. These canisters are like 30 inches long, about as round, about 8-inch diameter, and they just drop, and as soon as they hit the ground, ignite over this wooden whole cities of just wooden structures. Just wooden paper. That's everything for 20 square miles, housing wise. And wind's coming in. And there goes the inferno. In about 10 seconds.
Okay, so executive decision. we don't ask him to research topics anymore. We just have Brian's monthly death segment where he just sits there and talks about death for 45 minutes.
That could be fun.
Brian's death segment. Am I going to start reading statistics from around the world?
I mean, do you actually have to? Because you're just rattling them off now.
Well, that's because I know them.
That's why we're saying maybe that should just be what your episodes are, is you tell us about like a major death event.
You want me to talk about Operation Barbarossa?
Save it for another episode.
Do you know what Operation Barbarossa was?
Something with pirates is what it sounds like.
No, it was
Barbarossa.
Operation Barbarossa was the fucking German push into Russia in 1942.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this a while back.
Or in 1941, spring of 1941, I think, is when that push was. But that was when the Germans made all their headway and the scorched earth policy behind them. And they were committing war atrocities like nobody's business by killing Russians. They stayed behind because it was their little village, and they put all the people in a house and then machine gun the house and then light it on fire.
But the big question, this episode's all about, Brian, do you believe in dragons?
Do I believe in dragons? No, not at all. They're mythical figures.
Okay, then how do you explain multiple cultures across the world all coming to the conclusion of dragons despite being secluded from each other?
Well, the difference in their depiction of dragons, too.
But this could be the difference in
Asia
of dragons.
In Asia, they have the long serpentine dragons,
right,
with 4 legs that would fly around.
But they're all flying reptiles.
I know, but these didn't.
But the difference is
varying breeds around the world would make sense.
You're
which
interrupting
is why we
again.
have different looks.
But
they have different looks for Asia.
The Asian ones were wingless,
serpentine.
Shenron. Did you watch Dragon Ball?
As a child, briefly.
Did you see Shenron at all when they get all the Dragon Balls together?
Yeah,
he's real long. He's got little arms.
Snake. That's an Asian dragon.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with the concept.
And people, like, you look, it's like, oh, here's, I don't remember where that fucking started. I didn't look it up. But I have to think, it's like, well, what do they have a lot of in Asia? Well, there is a fuck ton of Komodo dragons in Asia. You elongate that, it's going to look like that a little bit.
Does the Komodo dragon live in Asia?
Yeah.
I think they do. I think that's where they're...
Do they? Okay. I wasn't sure. But, what about the things like, the Leviathan?
The Leviathan? The giant sea serpent for the Nordics?
No. The Leviathan is a Jewish and Christian thing.
All right.
The Norse had Jormungandr.
Okay.
The world snake, which was a giant sea serpent.
Which was a giant fucking snake.
2 separate cultures, both believing in a gigantic sea serpent.
I think I think we believe there's some. Why did all those ships go down? Well, it wasn't because we were sailing through a fucking storm that was capsizing our little boats. It was Jormungandr, and he was mad, and he took out our guys. I think it was a storied excuse. It's the same way with how all gods became, like the Greek pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's an element to nature. Mm-hmm. Why does winter exist? Oh, well, it's because Persephone goes to the underworld to be with Hades for 3 months because that's his wife. And when she's gone, Demeter gets sad and doesn't let anything grow. And that's why winter exists.
But why is it so unlikely? Because we're not talking about a god, we're talking about a physical creature.
No,
why
you're talking about something written in stories. Just like all these other things were written.
Why is it so unlikely that there would be a creature that they documented?
Because we have no fossil record of anything.
Maybe it's still alive.
Maybe it's still alive. And all the stories of...
especially something like a sea serpent, the likelihood of us finding the fossils of it are extremely unlikely.
If it's a flying reptile,
it
would have had hollow bones.
Which would have deteriorated very easily over time.
Isn't there a theory that raptors had hollow bones?
I don't know if raptors had hollow bones or not.
Yeah, I think it was more that their hip structure is similar to birds, and that's why they believe they evolved into birds.
Either or.
It comes down to the hip structure when they classify dinosaurs.
Yeah, because not all birds have hollow bones, just like flight birds. Like ostriches don't have hollow bones.
Okay, I didn't...
Are you finally Googling your topic?
No, I'm checking for original origin dates of dragon.
So you are finally Googling your topic.
No, well, dragons wasn't part of my topic.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
No, it was part of your recommendation.
It was in the text
John,
message.
please read the text message.
I'll read the text
4,500 and 3,000 BC. The dragons of ancient China.
Here's the text message. When we record again, your episode will come out the same day as Godzilla vs. Kong. So we thought it would be good to do an episode about kaiju, dragons, and Hollow Earth theory. Would you be willing to do that topic for your episode? We want to call the episode Godzilla vs. Kong vs. Brian.
Showing him behind the...
Showing him behind the curtain.
Yeah. You can call it whatever you want, John.
I sent that text on February 11th. What date is this right now?
That was 2 weeks ago.
That this episode is releasing?
That was not a month. That was 2 weeks ago. You know where I've been for the last 2 weeks? I've been in a fucking freezer, not thinking about this, working.
When Brian's not on the podcast, he exists in a cryogenic state in a freezer that we bring him out of for episodes.
What's the
I've been in a freezer since the last time we recorded.
What's
This is perfect, Brian.
What's the Pauly Shore movie where he's got the caveman and they take out ice? Like Arsenio Man or something like that?
Millennium Man, isn't it?
Encino Man.
Encino Man.
Is it Encino?
Encino Man.
Whatever.
Kind of, maybe. Encino Man?
But yeah, every culture has dragons as the great
exactly,
beast.
that's the point.
That's the
what we
question.
wanted you to research.
Why do they all have dragons?
Why do they all have dragons? Well, we can't fucking explain that because, again, the earliest dragons, 4,000 years, actually 6,000 years ago at this point. 6,000 years ago, maybe there were. But we have no records, no fossils, nothing to say there was a giant flying serpent that spouted fire and killed our guys.
There's a lot of mythology surrounding dragons that they live an incredibly long amount of time.
Yeah.
What if all the dragons are still alive?
Maybe they are.
That's why we don't have fossils.
Maybe they transformed into world leaders. Maybe they run the shadow government. Who the fuck knows?
In the
I think
monster.
what he's trying to push you towards is the Hollow Earth. Maybe they moved into the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, but that would assume they don't have to eat anything.
They could be eating their young.
In the Monster Hunter International series of books, there is a dragon that lives deep underneath Las Vegas, and he runs and owns like multiple casinos, and his name is Management. I just like that. It's kind of funny. Dragon named Management who runs Vegas because it's the best way to grow his horde.
That's actually funny. But I mean, there's all kinds of shit. That's, it's a fucking dragon. It's this, it's that. It's like, yes, I will agree that many cultures coming up with that scenario. It's the same thing with religion. How did this culture come up that there were gods? And this one came up with there was a hell. And this, it's like, well, they're all separate. But it's a concept of after death there is peace, or after death there is paradise.
When a certain concept is taken amongst multiple cultures that have had no interaction with each other and they all come to the same conclusion, you have to wonder if there's a grain of truth to it. How, almost every culture has had some form of dragon. Or if you want to go the religious route, almost every culture has two different possible afterlives, a good one and a bad one. So there's got to be something.
I'm sure
that
there's
would
something
make them
to it.
Come up with these things like dragons all across the world. Why would they just make this up, but all have this similar creature?
Maybe it was a thought of pride to say that our emperor communes with the dragons, the great powerful beings, and they let us use this land because it is his will that he talked them down to let us, and we have to stay away from here because fuck it, why not? I say, I don't know. Why do everybody have dragons? If that's the thought, then why do all dragons look different?
Different breeds living in different areas.
Maybe.
Like how not every dog looks exactly the same.
Every dog doesn't look exactly the same. a lot. They used to look a lot more similar together,
but different
then
breeds.
we bred them apart and got their genus like separate completely from a lot of the old dog. You look at pictures of old dogs like 200 years ago. Here's our hunting dog. It's like, what is that? Oh, that's this. It's like, that doesn't look anything like that.
That can also happen naturally. Not every bird looks the same. We have not interfered in the breeding of birds the way we have with dogs.
No.
So
or even
why
just
could dragons
Charles
not diversify
Darwin's
through time and breeding?
Evolution.
I would honestly say it's
Adapting to the climate.
if we're looking at dragons, it's like giant reptilian beasts that can fly and breathe fire. There is nothing on this planet they can breed with but dragons.
Yes.
That
but
one's not going to... And just with the size alone, gigantism of a species would
how do you
starve
think
them.
how do you think different races of people developed? People could only breed with people, and yet here we are with, you know, probably hundreds of different races and variations and ethnicities of people.
Jason, are you getting
People
in on
only
this?
breed with
No,
people.
I'm just wondering, do you
So
think
why
that
would a
animals evolve by cross breeding?
Cross species breeding.
Is that how you think animals
No,
evolve?
I would think dragons would be only suitable for dragons, regardless.
Dogs are only suitable for dogs.
Cats
For
are only
humans.
suitable for cats. You know,
And
unless
you
you're talking like a
forward.
liger,
You
and
coming-
like a tiger.
Coming forward, let's say, oh, we're back to the Bronze Age.
Okay.
I don't know when the fuck that was. How far forward in that evolutionary track do you think a dragon is? Do you think it has any chance to crossbreed with anything else in existence at that point?
No, what are you talking about? We're not talking about crossbreeding. We're talking about the way that species adapt, like how humans became different from each other, how there's different breeds of dog, how there's different types of birds. They're
Okay.
technically the same thing, like a dog is a dog, but a wiener dog's not the same as a golden retriever.
No.
But they got that way through breeding with other dogs.
Okay.
So dragons could do the same thing
They
over
could.
time.
But it's not
just
even
like how
just
a
that.
tiger and a lion can have a child, that child ain't going anywhere genetically.
That's
because,
cross species, though.
yeah, they're both in the same family, but they can make a child, but that child can't make another child.
A tiger
But
and a
that's
lion
not
are
even
different
evolution
species.
at this point.
That's
what we're
not.
talking about is, okay, so why are Asian dragons long and, you know, European dragons?
That's not the
Short.
fucking question.
Yes,
I've been
it
trying
is.
to. It's what dragons? Are they fucking real? John, you wanted me to research dragons. How the fuck are they
To
around?
be fair, I did start this by saying, Brian, do you believe in dragons?
Yeah, it's not whether or not dragons can fucking breed. I'm just saying, if a dragon existed all the way up to, let's say, the age of knights, like, oh, King Arthur he fought a fucking dragon, I think. I don't fucking remember.
Nope.
Whatever. Somebody fought a dragon. A knight fought a dragon. We're that far forward on this tree, this evolutionary tree, that, oh yeah, it's like those two dragons, sure, they can fuck and they can make a kid, but that kid's not making a kid.
Why do you say that?
Why?
I mean, we're just as far along on our evolutionary tree as the dragons would have been, and we can still fucking make kids. They can fucking make more kids. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm looking at this.
simplification.
I'm looking at this from the liger. Liger's
they're
not
not
making
ligers.
They're not the same species.
tigers and lion. Okay, so Asian dragon and European dragon get together, fucking make a kid that's really long with big wings, and it's got a big meaty arm, and its name is fucking Trogdor. Trogdor ain't making babies, which means
No.
that family of dragon fuckers just died off.
What you're implying is that, well, take the same thing you just said, a European dragon and an Asian dragon. What you're implying would be that if a European woman and an Asian man had a child, that child would not be able to reproduce. That is what you're saying.
Are you trying to tell me that I conflated dragons and people together just now?
No,
because I did not just fucking conflate dragons and people.
Because you're seeing dragons so animal-like, you're separating species from breed.
John, I didn't research shit.
So
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, what I like here is John had a phone call in the background of a song to go on and made an entire topic.
John gave me bullshit topics that I wasn't even half prepared to
His
talk
had
about.
no evidence. He created the evidence. You're like, it has no evidence, so fuck it. I'm doing nothing.
I'm going for entertainment value. My beer's
This is
empty.
entertaining. I don't care. I'm having fun.
Fuck it. Dragons.
that's
Where
kinda-
do they come from? How do they work?
That's kind
How
of
do dragons work?
The policy with Brian episodes.
What does a dragon eat to sustain itself and not fucking starve to death?
The audience won't learn anything, but we'll have fun. Like,
No, the audience
And
isn't
they
going to learn
enjoy it.
shit. It's like, what, do I want to go talk about Pacific Rim and the fights? Don't want to talk about how humanity finally bands together not because of fucking starvation, because a fucking giant monster went rampaging through like 6 cities? I want a Jaeger. That's what I want. I want to fight.
It tastes too much like cough syrup. I'm not really a big fan of it.
I thought Jaeger the drink too when he said that.
I want a drink too. I want a Jaeger in a Jaeger.
What's a Jaeger? I can't
You don't know.
can't remember what
It's
Jaeger
the giant fucking robot, you tool.
Okay, that's right.
That's what they were
I
called.
have not seen my specific rim in a long time.
You fingered it around though, haven't you?
Really hard to get an eyeball on that.
Yeah, you've gotten your hands on it though. Or Alicia's gotten her hands on it. I don't know how you guys do that.
Nope.
Nope. Alicia
What's
just-
horrible is what happened is I laughed when he said it's my specific rim. And the stupid shit that happens with your beer where it just foams up, it happened in my throat and it's like foam in my mouth. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, that's me secretly trying to fucking murder you. And then secretly trying to fucking murder
Jason's
John.
gone rabid.
I do want to do that someday. Just like to get like an Alka-Seltzer tablet and walk through Walmart with my mouth foaming.
Mouth. It would look so gross too, because
No.
like with a beard, like that, like foam and stuff will just fall in your beard.
Do it now with the mask on.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this isn't a COVID symptom. Just fucking foam running down your face.
I was watching an episode of Mountain Monsters the other night,
Shut the fuck up.
and there's this scene that is so funny because like it's a super scripted show, you can tell, but I don't know if they were going for dramatic effect with this scene or if they just genuinely thought it was funny like I did. But so they're going after the sheep squatch, and the sheep squatch is just like a big Sasquatch like thing with ram horns and stuff. So they're looking for signs of it and stuff. And they get to this tree, this like branch overhead, and they're like, well, why the hell would it piss on that tree branch up there? What's the purpose of that? And the main guy, Trapper, looks up at it and stares directly into the piss, and it drips down in his eye. And he starts freaking out because it burns, and he starts going, ha, 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 suck it up, Trapper, and like it just keeps cutting to his face over and over, just going, and he's got like mucus pouring down his beard. It's just so funny. It felt like an Adult Swim thing. Like they just kept cutting back
I
to
miss
his
Adult Swim.
close-ups on
It
his
used to be
face.
good.
It did.
Well, don't they just do replays or reruns of shit now? Actually, no, they got rid of Aqua Teen, didn't they?
Yeah, it did.
Aqua Teen, the Boondocks is gone.
Aqua Teen, Boondocks. What was the one where they were the Sea Lab?
Sea Lab 2021.
Yeah, Sea Lab.
That's
Yeah.
old. That's real old. That's just them dubbing over old Sea Lab
And,
episodes.
the Harvey Birdman like talk night.
Jesus, that was like late 90s Adult Swim.
That's because funny things aren't allowed anymore. Like, what can you put on Adult Swim anymore? Because the shows that were on there that we all
Rick
like
and
enjoyed
Morty.
and thought were funny can't exist these days.
Do you guys remember when someone graffitied the Moonites all over like a bunch of cities?
No.
And
The
people thought it was,
Moonanites.
people thought it was like gang symbols because it's just this like little like pixel art character flipping the bird.
No.
And everyone's like, what? Oh, yeah, it's gang violence or something. Like, no, it's an ad
hilarious.
for
We
Aqua Teen
are the
Hunger Force.
Moonanites. Take that. Then you had the Dorito Boys. We got a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, but dragons, you know?
Yeah, dragons.
Well,
they're-
think about it. Like, okay, so there's a breed of like a breed of dragon.
Why are you going back to eugenics on this?
Oh, fuck you.
We're not breeding dragons anymore. We've moved on from breeding dragons.
No, but like, we need to get you to understand the concept of breed.
I don't care, John. I'm talking about breeding a mythological creature.
But like, okay, so all right,
Do I think dragons existed? Fucking no. I think they were story tales. I think they were creatures of legend.
I love this is the second time in this podcast that you've used the phrase story tales. And I love it. I love it.
Just shut the fuck up.
I've only ever heard you say story tales, and I love it. It's
just
my favorite.
They're creatures of legend and myth. I don't think they were real.
You guys remember that show, Dragon Tales?
I'm gonna shoot you in the fucking face.
Was that the one with like the blue fat dragon? And like the little kids would go into the dragon world. And
what was that shiny thing they always had?
The dragon scale?
I don't remember.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
I can't remember, but I used to watch it all the time.
I don't fucking remember.
Dragon Tales.
I watched Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin.
Franklin could zip zippers, button buttons, and tie shoes.
Introduced a whole generation of furries.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck any of y'all are talking about.
You remember Franklin the Turtle? You were like 30 when that came out. Fuck off. And then there was a Little Bear.
Little Bear. I love that one.
And then there was like the worst show on Nick Jr., which was Little Bill.
Oh, Little Bill.
Which was like,
it didn't age
the
well.
little black kid?
Well, no, it was like Bill Cosby made this show
It's
about Little
supposed to
Bill.
be, yeah, Bill
but
Cosby
it was
as
like,
a child.
It was really boring. Like, as a kid, I just thought it was really boring because it was just like, we're going to the grocery store today.
I discovered Gundam.
It was very much
quickly.
meant for like really little kids, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, eventually it came back around and I did learn about little Einsteins and I thought that was great. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
What's the rest of it? Sing the whole
Flying
thing.
through the skies, little Einsteins.
I've never seen the show. I've seen the name.
My niece and nephew watched it, but every time I came over to babysit, we watched Gladiator and Hitman.
Gladiator. Such a good movie.
Yeah, my nephew was very happy until the one day where he was like, I think he was like 3, and he just, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was the I am Maximus, blah blah Aurelius, and he would just go, I'm Maximus.
Do you want to watch Gladiator later tonight? I haven't watched Gladiator in years.
No.
All right,
I feel like you're lying when you say you haven't watched that in years.
I have not watched Gladiator in
We
years.
have to watch WandaVision.
WandaVision sucks.
We'll watch WandaVision, but like that's only like 25 minutes.
Actually, I don't know if WandaVision sucks.
So we can watch
What's
Gladiator.
funny is this episode will come out like March 31st and WandaVision will have been over for several weeks.
And everyone will be like, yeah, that wasn't that good.
I gotta wonder, it's like, when is she gonna finally accept that he's dead and then collapse the bubble and like come out and be like, I've gotten over my grief?
I think, okay, so I don't even want to go into it because it'll all age so badly.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and I'm also an episode behind, so my theory of what I think is going on.
I have watched one episode and I saw it and I was like, this is her, like, this is going to be a series about her going through grief that Visions and her, like, I found out her brother came back, but it's like the X-Men Quicksilver actor is instead of,
so little.
Here's what I want to say. We're going to see how this ages, so we're going to put this in a time capsule. I'm an episode behind right now. But my thinking in WandaVision right now, I have watched 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. And my thinking is that the bubble was not created by Wanda. It was created by Agatha Harkness. And because when Quicksilver is asking Wanda about how she did all this, and she's like, I don't know, you know? And I think that she recognizes what it is, and she's able to expand it like she did to keep Vision in. But I don't think that she created it in the first place. But I'm an episode behind. And by the time this comes out, the whole thing will be over.
Yeah. You should have been caught up on an episode before trying to predict what happened because you're already wrong.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
I'm going to just try. Whatever.
But no, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, but I can't help but think that whole series is just an allegory for the stages of grief.
It is. There's a great line from the show, which I don't think any of you have gotten to yet.
I'm not going to watch it.
Grief is just love persevering.
Okay.
My favorite thing, though, in my preparation for this episode, and like where I thought it would go, was looking into Leviathan and Behemoth and
you mean
the one
this
other
show,
one,
not someone else's
this show. And the whole thing of the idea of the Behemoth was... In the Bible, the idea of the behemoth was that basically God created this monstrous giant creature as his pet, as a challenge to all men, come kill this thing. And I'm like, that's so cool.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there three?
There's three of them. There's
The behemoth, the Leviathan,
the Leviathan.
and
There's
what was
one for the land, one for the sea, and one for the air.
Yeah, what was the air one?
Giant beasts. I don't remember the name of the air one. But it was like just three giant beasts that are like way bigger and more powerful than anything on Earth, that are supposed to be like God's pets, and it's a challenge to humanity. Like, come kill this thing.
Oh, they're dead. Those things are long dead.
Such a cool idea, though.
I built this giant monster, and you have to kill it. It's like 4 stories tall.
Yeah, this is just something I never looked into before, and then I did, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, but then one dude took out all of them to bring back his dead wife.
Yeah, I never
then he
finished
turned into
that
a baby.
game because there was like a bug in the remaster.
What game?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh.
I always wanted to play that game after I saw the movie Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler.
Why?
Have you seen the movie Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler?
No.
He spends 90% of that movie playing the game Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay.
And it's like a representation of like him.
Is it
like,
Rain on Me or Rain Over Me?
It's Reign Over Me. And
Is that the one where his wife dies in the World Trade attack?
His entire family.
Okay.
And the whole idea of it in the movie is like it's representative of him like not dealing with the grief of it, and like Shadow of the Colossus, and that's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's just
because the main character of Shadow of the Colossus doesn't want to acknowledge the grief of losing his loved one, so he does something that turns out to be evil. And
he gets fucked by the Shadow Beast like 9 times.
So good. Like,
I remember
so good. And then that Pearl Jam cover in the credits where Pearl Jam covered the song by The Who, that Reign Over Me. No, Reign Over Me, the title of the movie. It was so good.
If we are all competing to see who can have the best average for how long our episodes are, do we want to cut this short to keep him losing?
We have gone for like 20 minutes.
Say we're at 47 minutes.
We're trying to break
47 minutes. I still got to talk about Pacific Rim and how fucking cool it is.
Our average is our goal is 45 to an hour.
Yeah, but your average for all your episodes is at 46 right now.
Well, if I didn't get interrupted all the fucking
target
time,
range.
I didn't get interrupted all the time and all kinds of other bullshit.
You and I just have a bad habit of going over.
Wouldn't interrupting make your episode go longer?
My last episode was an hour long.
Yeah, but your first two are super short.
Well, yeah, that's what happens.
You're in less episodes than any of us.
Yeah,
that is true.
But I also,
except,
I missed 4.
the guests.
Right.
Although there was a short period of time where we had a guest that had been in more episodes.
Kevin.
Yeah.
And Jesse.
Yeah, Kevin and Jesse had been...
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day you guys tell me, Brian, you're not the third guy on this anymore. We're bringing in whoever.
We'd have to pay for new artwork, and it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're cemented. You're on the website.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, if we're talking about kaiju, it's like... We could go on. I could talk about Jaegers. Actually, I don't really care about the monsters as much in those movies.
The Jaegers are really the cool part of the movie.
Actually, it's the fight.
Well, yeah.
And that's my favorite like backlash moment from...
If that was true, Pacific Rim 2 would have been good.
No, because the Jaegers were awful in that movie. Because they updated them to like the Power Rangers. They like when you watch the first Pacific Rim, the Jaegers are not quick. Like there's one, the Striker Eureka was the top of the line Jaeger. It was throwing punches fast, but it still wasn't like the be all end all that they were in Uprising. Like Gypsy Danger when it's fighting in Hong Kong, it's like that thing is throwing wide, slow punches it's got a fucking rocket elbow. It's like the fact that it had a gun and a knife was awesome. Because it's like, oh, I'm not going to beat this thing to death with my fists. It's not a fucking Cherno Alpha that just has giant fucking fists. Or I don't remember what the Chinese one was called. I don't care. I didn't like that design anyway.
Is that the 3-armed one?
Yeah, it's a 3-armed.
That's probably a knockoff.
No, yeah, but I thought that one was neat for the design. I just thought that one was neat for the pilot system because it had 3 guys in it instead of 2.
Well, it had 3 arms.
But that one got fucked up in like a second. Like that one was out of the fight like immediately. Yeah, but it's like the best one in that series was the Striker Eureka, and it was thrown. Then you get to Uprising, and it's like these dudes are sprinting around. They're doing all kinds of acrobatic shit with like 800,000 ton machines. It's like, no, I want big, slow monster fist fights. That in Uprising, they replaced every pilot with a child, and I hate children in movies when they're not needed. Because apparently all the Jaegers in Uprising were infected with monster like brains because Charlie Day's character was having mental sex with a brain stem from a small monster.
As only Charlie Day could.
Yeah, Uprising was just bad all around. I had forgotten about that subplot of they were putting
they were putting kaiju brains in Jaegers, and they would take, and then every experienced in the entire Pacific Fleet died. So it's like, oh, the only people we have left to fight are these fucking trainee kids. It's like, no. It's like, I can't remember the dude's name. The Gypsy Danger pilot, like him and the Asian girl who was in charge of the program. Asian girl died. He's still around. But wait, was he in that one? I don't fucking remember.
Well,
it's been. I've seen it once and I thought it was awful.
Since Godzilla vs. Kong released today,
on March 31st, 2021.
This day.
And
I went ahead and watched it.
John, shut the fuck up. You haven't seen shit. It's February 27th.
No.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
No.
Well, no, it's February 28th, you moron.
End of the movie.
What the fuck ever?
End of the movie.
Oh, do we want to see if we can actually accurately predict how the movie ends?
I'm doing that right now.
Mechagodzilla's in it, so I have to assume they're going to fight and beat the fuck out of
End of the
that.
movie. One of two things happens. Kong appears to win. Underdog, little guy wins. But Godzilla's not dead. He just, goes away for now.
No, something bigger is going to show up.
Alternate ending. Godzilla and Kong are fighting. But then work together to defeat a greater threat.
Which, there's
it'll be really stupid.
In the movie.
Yeah, it'll somehow be boring.
Hey, Ghidorah's still alive, so, I mean...
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. Did you ever watch the end of King of the Monsters?
Wait, is there a post-credit?
Yeah. They have Ghidorah's third head.
Speaking of Dora, did any of you watch the Dora the Explorer live-action movie?
Up.
It was hilarious.
So I think it's going to happen.
The eco-terrorists have Ghidorah's head in like a bunker, and he's slowly regenerating.
So here's what I think is going to happen. Because in the first time Godzilla and King Kong fought, back in the Toho movies...
Didn't Godzilla stuff a tree into King Kong's open plastic mouth?
Yeah.
You can put something in my open plastic mouth.
So King Kong gained a bullshit power. He got hit by lightning, and all of a sudden he could shoot lightning from his fingertips.
Oh.
And then they both got thrown into the sea, and only King Kong came out. I think we're going to see something very similar. King Kong's going to get a bullshit power like a axe made out of a dorsal fin and a bone from Godzilla. And they're going to fight, and that's going to give...
Is that what's speculated? I haven't watched any of the trailers because I don't want
It's what he's speculating right now.
Yeah, in the trailers, he's got a axe that looks like it's a dorsal fin from Godzilla on a bone from a long since deceased either Godzilla or Kong.
Okay.
And that's what he's using to fight Godzilla with.
Is it technically called a dorsal fin on Godzilla?
Yes.
Yeah, it's his back fins.
Well, because I always think of the things on his back in the way of like a stegosaurus, where those would not be called a dorsal fin.
Dorsal spines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still dorsal.
So, that's the question with Godzilla, since he's kind of a water creature. Is it a fin or is it a spine?
I think they call it the dorsal spine.
But Godzilla, King Kong is going to get a bullshit power. It's going to come to a stalemate, and we're never going to know the winner. They're never going to declare a winner between King Kong and Godzilla because it's just kind of like declaring a winner in Freddy versus Jason or Civil War. They're just never going to declare a winner. They're going to leave both intact so that they can continue having this argument for years and years and years.
No, I'm still on the side of when you watch the 2014 Godzilla and he's rampaging through San Francisco fighting the Mutos, he's like 40 stories tall. And then it's like, okay, let's watch the King Kong movie. How big is Kong? He can pick someone up in his hand. Now, a 6 foot tall person in a hand that big.
He is a teenager in Skull Island. He's not fully grown yet.
That's what, 40 years difference?
something
for a creature of
But when they show
gigantism.
them in the trailer, Godzilla and King Kong are roughly about the same height, standing on the back of a aircraft carrier.
that they should have sunk in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
technically, given the size of Godzilla that they've already shown, he shouldn't be able to stand on an aircraft carrier.
No.
They're shrinking Godzilla.
Well,
That's
that's
why they
also,
think
it's the craft that's being used to take King Kong from Skull
Yeah.
Island to wherever he's supposed
he's
to
not
fight.
on an aircraft carrier. He's on a transport ship for carrying like oil rigs.
Okay, he's on something. It looks like an aircraft carrier because I don't know shit
It's
about
a
military vehicles.
Big boat.
It's a big boat.
Big boat.
But if Godzilla were to stand on an aircraft carrier, that aircraft carrier is going under the water.
What was that show called years ago that was like a Thomas the Tank Engine type thing where it was like little miniatures moving around, but it was a tugboat?
Tuggies?
No.
I don't fucking know. Why would you think I would know that?
I'm just generally, does anyone remember that? It was like a
I remember there was a
tugboat.
whole line of them. Like there was planes, there was
Yeah.
boats. I don't remember specific names though.
Huh.
But no. At the end of the day, Uprising was awful. Godzilla is shrunk down.
We're trying to stay on the Godzilla franchise because that's what we're trying to get search terms
I know, but I like well, I mean, you can put whatever words you want.
Where this episode topic goes won't undo the fact they searched it and found us.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
It
We
won't.
could have called the episode Godzilla versus Kong versus Brian and then talked
Versus
about
Jaegers.
apples. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
who the
matter.
fuck knows?
Yeah, but we
Alicia
also went
says
to.
nothing.
We still have a 5-star
For 3
rating on
episodes.
iTunes. I don't want to risk that.
Nobody's going to ruin that.
John's gonna delete.
We've already been rated by every listener.
all of our parents listen to.
All of our 12,000 listeners.
That was not me.
That was my throat. It was like a little gas
Okay.
bubble. It just went like, ow.
But no, it's like if we push back into, it's like Godzilla's not losing that fight. I don't care. It's like what happened to the Muto when Godzilla hit it with its tail? He fucking punctured the thing through a building, and then its leg fell off.
I don't know, but if we're just going, like, if you take a lizard type creature, like a Godzilla type thing, that moves the way he does and everything like that, and you take an equal sized primate, I will bet on the primate every time.
Yeah.
Just because of
Especially since the trailer
movement.
already looks like there's going to be bullshit at play with the fucking axe.
Mhm.
Because the axe even absorbs the atomic breath in the trailer.
Even without the axe, just the ability to move and
Oh yeah, he's
You
going to have
know.
him outnumbered. He's going to have him outclassed in movement,
yeah.
especially in an urban environment where the tall buildings look like the tall mountain cliffs from Skull Island, and he can just jump from surface to surface
Yeah.
and just outspeed Godzilla.
I can outspeed you. It's like, okay, let's remember, if this monkey is now the same size as Godzilla, anything he tries to hang on is coming down. There is no advantage for height in that building.
Well, the big surprise is when they bring in the 2003 Hulk to come in and fight too, because, you know, he's roughly the same size.
I'm going to say the one thing I saw was a slow motion view of, I think, the Japanese trailer for the movie, and it showed Mechagodzilla, and it makes me think the whole thing, it's like, oh, it's Godzilla, he's fighting Kong. It's like, nope, whole time it was Mechagodzilla. They're testing Mechagodzilla as a defense mechanism against Kong. Kong's going to kill Mechagodzilla, and then real Godzilla's going to show and be like, yo, kids, stop it. Enough. Godzilla, go back to your island. Swim. I don't give a fuck. Mechagodzilla just is going to lay there destroyed. And Godzilla's going to look pissed off.
Unpopular opinion, but I just find Godzilla boring.
Same.
It's a giant monster.
I liked Kong Skull Island, but aside from that, like Godzilla and like Kong stuff, I just find it really boring. Like Pacific Rim was really good.
I'm not a big fan of the legendary, like the reboot, the 2014 and all that.
Yeah, those first two Godzilla movies that came out more recently, I just thought they were really boring.
But the older Godzilla movies, yes, they are corny. Yes, the suit work is very
Well, and that's part
bad,
of the fun of it, though.
But it's what I grew up with, so it's what
I'm not
really
going to tell
like.
you your Toho movies aren't. Everybody knows it's like, haha, that's so
Now,
bad.
there was a recent Toho movie that I did really enjoy.
Shin Godzilla?
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Oh.
It was good.
That was it falls in the same category as Sonic the Hedgehog, where it was
Why is
it
this
had no
good?
right to be good, but
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. I had low expectations for that Sonic movie, but I really enjoyed it. And it's Monster Hunter movie. I didn't really have much expectations.
Well, even if you're a Monster Hunter fan,
really enjoyed it.
There was deep cuts to lore in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had Diabolos, you had Rathalos, you had Gormagala, you had like these creatures that have been a part of the series for years and years and years, like used properly, and that was really cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to say I haven't seen the movie yet, but I can just remember the one thing that made me chuckle was I was listening to another podcast, and the guy was talking, and he was like, the only thing. Like, he saw the trailer and was like, you know, the only thing I can, because he knows going in, he's like, this is going to be bullshit. I'm not going to keep my hopes up. But the only thing that upset him was that she was using fire dual blades against the Rathalos, which is immune to fire.
I don't think she actually used them. She just had
in the trailer.
Them. We'll see.
She was using them to fight a Rathalos.
Well, that's the thing, is she never was fighting effectively against the Rathalos.
Oh,
she was fighting it.
He said that was the only thing that bugged him, was that she equipped fire to fight a Rathalos.
Well, that's one of the things, is like the way they cut the trailers, it could make you think like, oh, this scene happens here and then this immediately happens.
Because there's a scene where the Rathalos comes through and sets the Abceros on fire.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I look at it and it's like, when I see the opening like part of the trailer where it's like we're a bunch of military guys driving through the desert, and suddenly this fucking sand beast comes out. All I can remember is the first the Michael Bay Transformers, where they're fighting the sand scorpion all the time. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can think of when it's like, oh, Diablos is bursting out to attack. It's like, that's just that stupid scorpion from Transformers.
Well, my concern was it was going to be like the Resident Evil movies that very quickly had nothing to do with the Resident Evil video game.
Oh yeah,
I thought, oh, this is going to be like that, where it's going to be just a bunch of bullshit that's.
I mean, it could have been the original script. It could have been the original script for Monster Hunter.
I didn't know there was one.
They were supposed to be fighting in New York, and it was a kid from our universe he fell through a portal into theirs, but the portal stayed open, so the monsters came through, and he had to come back and save the world from them.
Basically, what happens is just not New York, and it's not a kid.
All right.
I can't help the idea that some dude with a charge blade can do more damage than a minigun to one of those monsters.
I was like, okay, so this is, a Chinese. No, was it Chinese? Yeah, Tencent China.
Yeah,
it was paid for by China.
We're gonna see a lot more of that. And
all the American soldiers are ineffective against these monsters.
They're not American soldiers in the movie.
Where?
UN. It's a UN joint operation in the movie.
That's hilarious.
Like, she is technically American, but it was a mixed group of various,
But it's this ancient, massive swords that is effective. And,
Did he? I just got to ask. I haven't seen it and I want to see it. But does he do the whole charge up for the great sword or anything? Do they do any of those?
There is some of the the moves, like just like spinning around in circles and some of the weird bullshit.
Well, they do
moves.
the charge up with the dual blades too.
Yes.
I'm just thinking, when you think of the great sword, and it's like it's got that charge up that's like 3 different motions, and then you hold it, and I'm just thinking, it's like, would they do that in the movie? Would they show where they trap the monster, hit it with enough sleeping not spells, but hit it with enough sleep darts to knock it out, then go up, place a bunch of explosive barrels around it, and then just let that guy get his charge to full max and then slam it down and get the max amount of damage? Did they do that in the movie?
They did not do that. There was no capturing. There was just flat out killing.
Oh, no, not then. I mean, you don't do that for... You can do that for both, but I mean, that's how you get the max damage on a monster in a hunt.
Now, I thought
but they're not looking for points.
Yeah, I thought the bow hunter was very accurate, having played bow a lot in that series.
Well, that's just... I mean, you can get away with doing the bow because all that is charging.
But as far as he had explosive rounds, he had poison rounds.
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with that if it's like, oh, I changed the color of the arrow tip or whatever.
Well, no, he actually had to craft them, and you saw the whole thing happen, things he had to gather.
They had to grind. What was it?
The spiders.
The Cerulos?
I don't know what they were called, but they were big spider things.
Yeah, he had to grind these spiders and
that made the poison?
Yeah, to make the poison arrows.
It's more involved than I thought.
Yeah, it's really...
You even see her carve the Diabolos, and it looks like carving in the game.
Oh, it doesn't just look like 4 people scratching about a corpse? I just love the idea of, all right, everybody, blow the. I just love the idea of blow its tail off, hit it here specifically so we can get the drop.
Well, they do break the Diablo's horn, which makes me think of like drops, but no. But also, drops in Monster Hunter made no sense to me.
Well, I got to pee, jabronis.
All right.
Well, this has gone off the fucking rails, and I had no record. Hopefully, we can get some Monster Hunter fans, or maybe some bullshitter Pacific Rim fans, or maybe just all the people that listen to this anyway. So, this has been my episode. It went nowhere, but at least it was entertaining, hopefully. So, have fun, everybody.